300-year-old oak trees draped with moss cover the ground of a newly renovated country-style home in Mandeville, Louisiana. For Suzanne and Frederick Dwyer, waking up in this beautiful waterfront home is a daily reminder that their hard work to save this house was worth it.
Well, I grew up in Covington, and when I was a teenager, I had seen this house. It had been abandoned and was vacant, but I just fell in love with the house and the property, and it was always kind of my dream house. Well, fast forward 30 years later, and Frederick and I are living on the North Shore, and we have twin daughters, and we're looking to build or buy another house, and coincidentally, this house came on the market.
After purchasing their dream home in 2001, Fred and Suzanne packed their bags to evacuate for Hurricane Katrina.
The house had never flooded. It was 2 feet or so on piers off the ground, and it had been built in the 30s, and everyone we talked to, including the people we bought the house from, said it had never flooded in any of the hurricanes or the tropical storms. So we were in Florida, and my father and his brother came by the house, and they said there had been water in the house.
We got an inch and a half to 2 inches of water in the house. The yard was a huge job because we had a forest in the front as you come in, and we lost 170 trees. The storm brought every bit of debris from New Orleans and the lakefront into the yard.
Well, we moved back without everything being done about 6 months later, and we're living just kind of out of 1 bedroom and making do while we took another 6 months or so putting things back together. Hurricane Isaac was a really bad storm for the North Shore because it was a very large, slow-moving storm that just came and sat and drove all kinds of rain to the North Shore for days and days and days. We again had about the same amount of water, would you say?
Isaac was much harder on the house. It took a little more water.
So
Things to replace.
we were faced with the reality that, okay, the house is going to flood. So what are we going to do about that?
There was no question of whether we were going to move back or redo it when we had to.
So 30 days after Isaac, when we were still not living in the house, but we had contractors and repair people and all kinds of folks in and out, we got a call from our neighbors saying, "I think your house is on fire." So we ran over from the apartment, and sure enough, there were how many fire trucks?
Several. All the contents were major damage. The
Smoke got into every
everywhere.
single little corner and crevice. It's amazing how insidious, water kind of seeks its own level on the ground and then rises, but the smoke just went into every little rafter. It was not a good year. And we were really scratching our heads because we knew if we were going to fix all this fire damage, we still had a house that flooded that would be difficult to sell, since now you've got, it wasn't the once-in-a-lifetime Katrina event. Now it's happened twice. So who's going to buy a house that floods? And it was kind of hard to put your heart into fixing this house that you felt like, we'll never be able to sell, and we're always going to have this fear that it will flood again.
The house was not really salvageable.
So
Without
then
major work.
we decided, in some moment of, I don't know, irrationality, to raise the house.
We started raising the house, I think, October of 2013. And it took a year to raise it and then build the foundation underneath and set it back down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was a huge amount of work because the house is so long.
But we were really, really sensitive to trying to preserve the feel of the house. And, I just wanted a simple country house. I didn't want to create something that was kind of grand and overblown. And even though it looks bigger because it's raised, we didn't increase the footprint at all. We didn't really increase the size. It's just higher off the ground. You know, we're on 6 acres, but we're 1 minute from the causeway. So we get to leave work and come feel like we can sort of relax and have a little bit of a country life, and we like living on the water. You know, the trees are just something that would be hard to find or...
Well, as you've seen, it's a beautiful property. And the oak trees are really tremendous. I just couldn't, of course, Suzanne loves the house, and I just couldn't do it.
Tear it down?
Tear it down, yeah. No, I just couldn't bring myself to tear it down, and I guess I was looking for a project.
You got one.
And to make Suzanne happy, of course.
Although renovations are still being done, Fred and Suzanne take it day by day. After 16 years, 2 floods, and 1 fire, their love for this house is something that cannot be destroyed.